Have you ever found yourself in a moment of quiet solitude, perhaps late at night when the world outside has hushed and a profound realization settles in your heart? A moment where you look around and wonder, who can I truly count on when the chips are down? It's a powerful, sometimes unsettling, truth we often encounter as we journey through life. The support systems we once took for granted begin to shift, shrink, or, in some cases, vanish altogether. Our beloved children, bless their hearts, become engrossed in their own vibrant lives, balancing demanding careers with the joys and challenges of raising their own families. Cherished friends might move across the country to be closer to their grandchildren, or they may face health challenges or even pass on, leaving an undeniable void. And in that quiet space, a heavy, unasked question can linger. When push comes to shove, who is really in my corner? That question, if left unaddressed, can hit you with the weight of a ton of bricks, sparking a silent fear that can feel overwhelming. But what if I told you that confronting this very fear is not a weakness, but actually the crucial first step toward building a more powerful, more peaceful, and truly independent life? As a family physician with over 3 decades dedicated to listening to the most private worries and hopes of individuals in their 70s and 80s, I've gained a unique perspective. I'm going to share something that might profoundly surprise you. The kind of real, dependable support, the kind that brings true inner peace and resilience, often doesn't come solely from external sources like family or friends. And this isn't some abstract theory from a dusty medical textbook. This wisdom comes from observing real people navigate real-life situations, triumphing over adversity not by waiting for rescue, but by cultivating an unshakable inner foundation. I'm thinking of a remarkable 78-year-old gentleman named Arthur, whose steadfast dedication to his simple daily walk instilled in him more strength and self-reliance than any number of weekly phone calls ever could. His story, and many others like it, completely reshaped my understanding of what it means to age with grace and power. This video isn't about assigning blame or dwelling on what might be lacking. Quite the opposite. It's about deeply empowering you. We are going to explore the 5 true pillars of support, pillars that you can begin to build for yourself starting today. These are the quiet, yet incredibly powerful supports that will never, ever let you down. And please, make sure you stay with me through all 5, because the very last one we'll discuss, what I call a personal code of values, is the ultimate anchor for your very soul. It's what empowers you to face anything, and I mean anything, with unwavering dignity and profound inner peace. It is, without a doubt, the most powerful one of all. Everything I'm sharing with you today isn't merely my opinion. It's grounded in decades of genuine conversations, countless personal stories, and first-hand observations from my medical practice. This is about real life, the kind you experience, not just what's transcribed on medical charts. So, before we delve into these transformative pillars, I truly want to know, how many of us have truly felt this way? If that quiet, underlying fear of having to rely solely on yourself feels familiar, if you've ever had that late-night thought, please take a moment right now and simply comment yes below. It profoundly helps me understand that I'm not just speaking to a camera, and more importantly, it shows others right here in our growing community that they are absolutely not alone in this deeply human feeling. All right, let's begin this journey. Our first pillar, physical mobility. Let's talk about our foundational pillar, physical mobility. One of the most common and, frankly, most dangerous myths I frequently encounter in my office is the insidious idea that feeling stiff, weak, or a little unsteady is just an unavoidable part of getting older, something we simply have to resign ourselves to. We subtly begin to make concessions, avoiding reaching for that item on the top shelf, choosing not to take that extra lap around the grocery store, or opting for the elevator instead of the stairs. We rationalize these choices, telling ourselves, it's just easier that way. But this, my friends, is a dangerous mistake, a quiet surrender that can gradually erode the very thing we value most, our independence. You see, Your body operates on a very simple, yet incredibly strict rule: use it or lose it. This isn't a mere suggestion, it's a fundamental biological law. When you consciously or unconsciously reduce your regular movement, your muscles, which have served you so faithfully for decades, inevitably begin to weaken. Your joints, once freely mobile, start to feel stiff, achy, and less pliable. But even more critically, and please pay close attention to this, your sense of balance begins to subtly, almost imperceptibly, fade. And that, my friends, is the single leading cause of dangerous, often life-altering, falls in seniors. It's a slow, silent process, robbing you of your confidence one small, seemingly insignificant decision at a time. Here's the hard truth. As we age, that use it or lose it cycle accelerates dramatically. A week of inactivity when you're 30 is generally inconsequential. You bounce right back. But a week of inactivity when you're 75, that can unfortunately be the tipping point, the beginning of a rapid slide towards losing precious independence. Your body simply doesn't rebound with the same speed or ease. It requires significantly more effort to regain what was lost, which is precisely why maintaining it is so incredibly critical. So, let me ask you this honestly. Does getting out of a low chair, perhaps your favorite, well-worn armchair, feel like a significant chore these days? Do you find yourself politely declining invitations for outings with friends or family because you're secretly worried you won't be able to keep up? That's not just your age talking. That is your mobility audibly shrinking. It's a direct, undeniable symptom of that use it or lose it principle actively playing out in your life. It's a quiet, yet urgent, warning sign that your physical foundation is becoming less stable. This brings to mind my patient Arthur, the remarkable 78-year-old gentleman I mentioned earlier. Arthur uses a cane, and his steps are certainly not as spry as they once were. Yet, he walks in the park every single morning, come rain or shine. I once asked him what fueled such unwavering dedication. He paused, leaned thoughtfully on his cane, and looked me directly in the eye. He said, "Doc, the moment I stop walking is the moment I start waiting for someone to help me. And I don't want to wait. I want to live." His mobility isn't perfect, but it is undeniably his. He owns it. And that profound sense of ownership gives him a peace and a power that no amount of external help ever could. He still confidently drives himself to the store, he still meets his buddies for coffee, and critically, he remains in control of his daily life. And the science wholeheartedly backs this up. Study after study, consistently published in leading journals of gerontology, has shown time and again that something as wonderfully simple as 15 minutes of daily walking can significantly improve balance, demonstrably strengthen leg muscles, and drastically reduce the risk of dangerous falls in seniors. It is, quite literally, one of the most powerful anti-aging tools at our disposal. So please, hear me clearly on this. Do not wait for a doctor to prescribe it. Prescribe it for yourself. Your mission, should you choose to accept this empowering challenge, is beautifully simple. Start with a 10-minute walk every single day. It can be around your living room if the weather outside is inclement. The primary goal here isn't distance or speed. It is unwavering consistency. This is the first, and perhaps most vital, step in consciously building a life you can truly rely on. It is, unequivocally, the best medicine for personal freedom. Our second pillar, financial simplicity. Now, let's transition to our second pillar, one that, perhaps surprisingly, causes more silent anxiety and sleepless nights than almost any other: financial simplicity. We are often conditioned to believe that having more money automatically equates to more security. However, in my 30 years of practice, I can unequivocally tell you that I've witnessed far more chronic stress and sleepless nights caused by financial clutter than by the actual numerical amount in a bank account. I'm referring to the relentless stress of juggling multiple credit cards, painstakingly trying to decipher confusing, jargon-filled statements, and dealing with those sneaky, recurring subscription charges that seem to materialize out of nowhere. This isn't merely a minor inconvenience. From a holistic perspective, it's a genuine health issue. From a medical standpoint, persistent financial complexity creates a state of chronic, low-grade stress within your system. It keeps your cortisol levels, your body's primary stress hormone, slightly elevated almost all the time. This insidious elevation affects virtually everything, from the quality of your sleep and your overall energy levels to your blood pressure and even your mood. Your brain is constantly in the background, trying to keep track of a multitude of details, and that precious mental energy is being stolen directly from your capacity to experience genuine joy, peace, and presence in your life. It's akin to attempting to drive a car with the emergency brake perpetually engaged. You can certainly do it, but you are relentlessly burning yourself out, slowly but surely. The reason this becomes exponentially more critical as we gracefully age is that our natural tolerance for this kind of mental clutter inherently decreases. The complex budget that was once a manageable challenge at 55 can now feel utterly overwhelming and paralyzing at 75. This pervasive feeling of being overwhelmed often leads to a deep-seated, nagging fear. Will I run out of money? Or, what if there's a crucial bill I completely forgot about? It's a fear that can effectively paralyze you, stifling proactive action. So, how might this manifest in your own daily life? Ask yourself honestly. Do you dread opening the mail, worried that you'll uncover yet another complicated, perplexing bill? Do you consistently put off looking at your bank statements for weeks, sometimes even months at a time? That pervasive feeling of avoidance, that persistent little knot in your stomach, is a glaring red flag. It's your mind's gentle, yet firm, way of telling you that your financial life is overly complicated and is actively causing you harm. I'll never forget my wonderful neighbor, Carol, a vibrant 74-year-old widow. After her beloved husband passed, she was left with a bewildering tangle of different bank accounts, investment portfolios, and various bills. She confessed to me that she was so overwhelmed and scared she could barely bring herself to open the mail. So, she took a brave, decisive step. She sat down with a simple, understanding financial advisor and collaboratively devised a clear plan to simplify absolutely everything. She downsized to a smaller, more manageable home. She consolidated her numerous accounts into a few easy-to-understand ones. She kept just one credit card specifically for emergencies and courageously got rid of the rest. She even started a small savings jar on her kitchen counter, which she affectionately called her rainy day fund, into which she'd deposit just $10 or $20 from time to time. She told me, "Doc, it's not about the sheer amount in the jar. It's about seeing it there and knowing that I am in charge, that I have a little something set aside." And the best part, she shared with a radiant smile, "I used to be terrified of the mailman. Now, I open every single envelope with a clear head and a calm heart." What she ultimately found wasn't untold riches. It was profound, liberating peace. So, here is your very simple, yet incredibly powerful, action step for this pillar. This weekend, I want you to take just one small step, truly just one. Identify one single subscription or recurring charge that you no longer genuinely need or actively use. It could be an old magazine subscription, a streaming service you rarely watch, a gym membership you never utilize, anything. And then, courageously cancel it. The primary goal here isn't to instantly save a fortune overnight. The profound goal is to feel the empowering sensation of taking back control, of being the active agent in your own financial well-being. You absolutely don't need to be a financial wizard or a Wall Street expert. You simply need to be the unwavering captain of your own financial ship. Simplify it, and you will bestow upon yourself one of the greatest gifts imaginable, a quiet, calm mind. Our third pillar, a consistent health routine. Let's delve into the third crucial pillar of a strong, independent life, and it's one that puts the power directly and unequivocally back into your hands every single morning. I am talking about cultivating a consistent health routine. Far too many people make the profound mistake of waiting for an undeniable health crisis to erupt before they begin paying genuine attention to their bodies. and well-being. They wait for a frightening diagnosis, a sudden, debilitating fall, or alarming test results. This approach is akin to waiting for a violent thunderstorm to begin before you finally decide to fix that persistently leaky roof. It's a life lived in a perpetually reactive crisis mode, and it is utterly exhausting, both physically and mentally. A consistent health routine completely flips that script. It puts you firmly in charge, enabling you to be proactive rather than reactive. I'm not suggesting you suddenly start training for a marathon or adhere to some overly complicated, restrictive diet. I'm talking about the small, steady, almost boring actions that you faithfully repeat every single day. The conscious act of taking your prescribed medications at the same time each day. The soothing ritual of performing a few simple stretches while your morning coffee brews. The healthy habit of drinking a full glass of water first thing upon waking. These seemingly small things, when woven together and done consistently, forge a powerful, empowering rhythm of self-respect and self-care. Here's precisely why this is so undeniably crucial. After the age of 70, as we continue to age, our bodies naturally lose some of their inherent resilience and capacity for rapid recovery. We simply don't bounce back from neglect as easily as we once did. A single night of truly bad sleep can cascade into throwing off your entire next day. Forgetting to take essential blood pressure medication can have immediate, tangible consequences. A consistent routine acts as an unshakable, stable framework, a protective scaffolding around your health. It minimizes the chances for error, reduces the mental load of decision-making, and creates a predictable, nurturing environment in which your body and mind can truly thrive. It dramatically reduces decision fatigue. You don't have to deliberate or wonder if you should take your morning walk. You simply do it because it's a non-negotiable part of your 9 a.m. routine. The symptoms of a lack of a consistent routine are often subtle, yet they are profoundly impactful. Do you frequently feel adrift throughout your day, unsure of what task or activity to tackle next? Do you find yourself consistently forgetting your medications or even your regular meal times? Does your energy feel wildly unpredictable, soaring high one moment only to vanish completely the next? These are often not merely signs of old age itself, but rather indicators of a life devoid of rhythm, without the grounding, stabilizing force of a simple, intentional daily routine. I'm reminded of my patient, Walter, an insightful 81-year-old former electrician. Every single morning, like clockwork, he adheres to a precise routine. At 6 a.m., he meticulously makes a cup of tea. He then dedicates 15 minutes to simple chair stretches he meticulously learned from a public television program. He takes his morning pills. Then, without fail, he goes for a brisk walk around his block, come rain or shine. I once asked him why he was so incredibly disciplined about it. He smiled warmly and uttered something I will never, ever forget. He said, "Doc, it's not really about the exercise anymore. It's about telling myself, every single morning, that I still matter, that I am still worth taking care of." For Walter, his routine isn't just about physical fitness. It's intrinsically linked to his identity. It's his daily, unwavering declaration of self-worth. And when you have that profound, consistent routine, you naturally become far less dependent on others. You're less likely to need your son or daughter to call and remind you to take your pills. You're significantly less likely to experience the kinds of accidents or health setbacks that so often arise from inconsistency and neglect. So, your action step here is to begin incredibly small. Do not attempt to construct an entirely new, elaborate routine overnight. Just choose one thing, one single, simple action. Perhaps it's drinking one full glass of water immediately upon waking, or dedicating 5 minutes to gentle stretching before you get into bed. Commit to doing that one thing every single day for just 1 week. That's it. You're not merely building a habit. You're building a foundational pillar of self-reliance. You are proving to yourself, day by day, that you are indeed your own best caregiver. And that, my friends, is a support system that no one can ever take away from you. Our fourth pillar, emotional resilience. This next pillar is perhaps the least visible to the outside world, yet it is, without a shadow of a doubt, the strongest. It is the invisible force that holds absolutely everything else together when life inevitably throws its toughest challenges your way. Let's talk about the profound importance of building emotional resilience. We often mistakenly believe that true strength in our later years is solely about possessing a healthy body or a generously full bank account. But I have personally witnessed individuals with both of those advantages crumble under the crushing weight of profound loneliness, unresolved grief, or overwhelming anxiety. True strength, the kind that allows you to weather any storm life presents, emanates from the deepest core of your being, your heart and mind. It's about your innate ability to feel deeply, to experience the full spectrum of human emotion, but crucially, not to be drowned or consumed by those feelings. The common misconception many people harbor is believing that being emotionally resilient means you simply don't feel sadness, anger, or loneliness. That you must maintain a stoic, brave face at all times. That, my friends, is an absolute falsehood. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Emotional resilience is the profound capacity to sit with difficult, uncomfortable feelings, to acknowledge them fully and honestly, to say, this hurts, and it's hard, but I can handle this, and then, to allow those feelings to pass through you without letting them take root and build a permanent, destructive home inside your spirit. It is the crucial difference between merely being in a storm and actually being the storm itself. As we mature and gracefully age, this vital skill transitions from being merely optional to becoming absolutely essential for our well-being. Life, by this stage, has guaranteed us a rich, sometimes painful, curriculum of loss. We experience the profound loss of spouses, the irreplaceable loss of dear friends, the gradual loss of certain physical abilities, and the significant loss of the defining roles that once shaped our identity. If our emotional well-being is contingent upon everything staying perpetually the same, we are inevitably setting ourselves up for constant pain, disappointment, and suffering. Our bodies naturally become more fragile with age, and precisely because of this, our emotional core must become stronger, more flexible, and more adaptable to compensate. It must evolve to become our primary, internal source of unwavering stability. What, then, are the symptoms of low emotional resilience? It's that crushing feeling that your entire day is irreparably ruined simply because your son didn't call precisely when he promised. It's falling into a deep, prolonged funk for weeks on end after a cherished friend moves away. It's a persistent, underlying sense of bitterness or victimhood regarding the inevitable changes that accompany the aging process. It's being so profoundly afraid of feeling pain that you unconsciously close yourself off from new experiences, new connections, and new people altogether. It's when your emotional world becomes alarmingly, unhealthily small. I learned one of the greatest lessons on this from a remarkable woman named Margaret, a 77-year-old whose husband of 50 years had recently passed away. The loneliness she experienced was, in her own poignant words, a physical weight on her chest. I gently asked her how she managed to get through the evenings, which she described as the hardest part of her day. She told me she had started a small, personal ritual. Every single night before retiring to bed, she lights a single candle. She said, "Some nights, I just sit and cry, letting the tears flow freely. Other nights, I remember a funny story we shared and find myself laughing out loud to an empty room. But no matter what, I sit with that flickering flame for a few minutes. It reminds me that even in the deepest dark, there's still light, still warmth, still presence. It's my way of honoring the pain without letting it swallow me whole. That profoundly simple act, that is emotional resilience in its purest, most courageous form. So, how do you actively build this vital inner strength? Your action step here is not to try and stop feeling your emotions, but rather to start consciously noticing them. The very next time you feel a wave of sadness, frustration, or even overwhelming anxiety, don't immediately try to distract yourself, dismiss it, or push it away. Instead, just pause. Take a deep, intentional breath, and gently say to yourself, "This is sadness. I am feeling sad right now." By simply naming it, you create a subtle, yet powerful, separation between yourself and the emotion. You are the conscious person experiencing the feeling, not the feeling itself. Practice this small, consistent act of awareness. It is the fundamental first step in learning how to truly hold your own sorrow, your own fears, your own anger, without allowing them to break you. It is how you become a safe, unwavering harbor for yourself, steady and strong, no matter how rough the seas of life may get. Our fifth pillar, a personal code of values. We have arrived at our fifth and final pillar. And just as I promised you, this one is the ultimate anchor for your soul. It is the unwavering internal compass that keeps you steady, centered, and purposeful when absolutely everything else in the world around you is constantly shifting and changing. I am talking about the profound act of creating and consciously living by a personal code of values. For the majority of our lives, our identity is often intrinsically tied to our external roles. We are a dedicated parent, a loving spouse, a skilled engineer, an inspiring teacher, a compassionate nurse, a diligent employee. These roles come with an unspoken, built-in set of expectations that largely guide our actions, choices, and interactions. But what happens when you retire from that career? When your children are grown and have families of their own? Or when a beloved spouse is gone? Those once clear external guideposts can abruptly disappear, and this can leave you feeling disoriented, lost, and profoundly wondering, who am I now? What is my purpose? This, tragically, is where so many people falter. They instinctively look outside of themselves for a renewed sense of purpose, waiting for someone else to give them a reason to get up in the morning, a new role to fulfill. But the most peaceful, most dignified, and most genuinely fulfilled seniors I have ever had the privilege of knowing, they look inward. They are guided not by a fleeting role, but by a simple, crystalline set of personal rules for living, a deep-seated personal code that is uniquely their own. Why does this become so profoundly important, even essential, in our later years? Because it liberates you, making you profoundly independent of other people's opinions, actions, or even their presence. Your peace of mind no longer depends on whether someone approves of you, or calls you, or validates your worth. Your self-worth, your sense of purpose, now emanates from a much deeper, more authentic place. The unwavering knowledge that you are living your life in a way that is utterly true to you and your deepest convictions. This internal validation is truly unshakable. When you have a personal code, you stop being a fragile leaf, tossed about by the unpredictable winds of circumstance, and you powerfully transform into the majestic tree itself, deeply rooted, resilient, and unyielding. The symptom of not having a clear, articulated personal code is a pervasive feeling of aimlessness, a sense of being easily rattled or offended by what other people say or do. It's a constant, vague feeling of looking for something, but never quite knowing what that something is. It's making critical life decisions based on what you think will please others, rather than what you genuinely believe is fundamentally right and true for yourself. It's a life that can feel flimsy, lacking substance, and easily swayed. I once had the pleasure of meeting an 82-year-old man named Robert at a community breakfast. He wasn't wealthy or famous, but he possessed a kind of quiet dignity and inner calm that was absolutely magnetic. I was intrigued and asked him his secret to such a centered life. He chuckled softly and said, "It's no secret, document. I just have 5 simple rules I try to live by every day. Number 1, speak the truth, but always with kindness. Number 2, never waste food, not a single bite. Number 3, always return a borrowed thing in better condition than you received it. Number 4, forgive fast, because holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And number 5, end every day with a clear conscience, knowing I did my best." He lived by that code every single day. It was his internal compass. It made all of his decisions wonderfully simple and clear. He knew exactly who he was, and that knowledge was his ultimate strength. So, your final, and perhaps most profoundly meaningful, action step is one of deep reflection. This week, I invite you to take out a piece of paper. You don't have to show it to anyone. It's just for you. At the very top, write the simple heading, "What I believe in." Then, just try to write down 3 things. Just 3 fundamental rules or values that you truly want to guide your life from this moment forward. It could be curious, or show compassion, or leave things better than you found them. It doesn't matter how simple or profound they are. What matters, profoundly, is that they are authentically yours. This isn't merely an intellectual exercise. This is the sacred act of building your own internal support structure, an unshakable foundation of character and purpose that will hold you up with quiet, faithful strength when absolutely everything else around you changes. It is the ultimate source of peace, because it comes from the one person you can always count on, no matter what, yourself. As we now wrap up our time together, I want you to cast your mind back to the very beginning of our talk, back to that quiet, universal fear of potentially being left to fend for yourself when you need help the most. The remarkable individuals we've discussed today: Arthur, with his daily walk of unwavering independence; Carol, discovering profound peace through a simplified checkbook; Walter, greeting each morning with a health routine that firmly declared he still mattered; Margaret, bravely lighting a single candle against the encroaching darkness of grief; and Robert, walking tall, guided by his own simple yet powerful rules for living. They all confronted that very same quiet fear. But critically, they didn't passively wait for a rescuer. They didn't wait for their children or their friends to construct a world of support for them. They did something far more powerful, far more enduring. They became their own unshakable foundation. After all these years as a doctor, the most profound and humbling lesson I have consistently learned from my patients is this: the most reliable, the most empowering support system you will ever have is not a person or an external circumstance. It is an internal practice. It is the consistent, small, intentional things you diligently do for yourself, day in and day out, that collectively build a life of unwavering dignity, profound inner strength, and enduring peace. But knowledge, my friends, is only truly powerful when we commit to putting it into action. So now, I have one deeply important question for you, and it is the most critical one today. What is the one single commitment you are making to yourself, right here and now, after watching this video? It absolutely doesn't have to be monumental. It could be as beautifully simple as, "I will take a 10-minute walk tomorrow morning," or "I will cancel one subscription I truly don't use," or even, "I will write down just one of my personal values." There is no answer that is too small or insignificant. Please share your personal commitment in the comments section below. Reading your promises is what profoundly inspires me, and your commitment will undoubtedly inspire someone else in our wonderful health advice for you community to take that crucial first brave step. And if you found genuine value and heartfelt inspiration in our time together today, please show your support by giving this video a like. It truly helps our channel grow and reach more people. To ensure you continue on this empowering journey with us and never miss another video full of this kind of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon right next to it. It's more than just subscribing. It's actively joining a supportive community. A community deeply dedicated to living our absolute best and strongest lives together. Finally, please think of just one person, just one individual in your life who might deeply need to hear this powerful message today. Please take a moment and share it with them. An act of sharing that takes you mere seconds might just change their entire life. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself, and I genuinely look forward to seeing you in our next video on health advice for you. Remember, your health, your peace, your independence, they are yours to build and cherish with health advice for you.